Before we get stuck into the painting, I wanted to let you know about my online course. With a growing collection of weekly videos, there's always something new to look forward to. Click the button in the top right to sign up today. Now, over to the easel. With this scene, it has a few of my great loves. Architecture, great sunlight, but possibly most of all, it's got some snow, which really does change the complexion entirely. It actually almost comes back to more of a monochromatic subject to paint. And that's one of the best ways to approach it. Just think in light and dark. So I'm getting in those big shapes of the tower, a little bit of a mid-tone, and even the sunlit area isn't super light or bright on the tower. Most of the colour and light will be on this sandstone wall that I've just put in. But it definitely does require clean brushwork and accurate use of reflected light in the shadows, because that colour that's in the shadow is reflected from the sky. They are similar to painting your classic white sandy beach or off-white sandy beach, but there's not as much reflected light from objects where with a sand dune scene, there's a little bit more reflected yellow into it, where this definitely is more predominantly reflected light from the sky. So we're also needing to get some depth and distance. And there was a tiny little bit of alizarin in the foreground in this shadow. So I'll just incorporate a little bit of that just to warm the cast shadow of the snow to help create a little bit more depth and distance. And this is going to have a fairly powerful sky as well to help just visually describe that really lovely sunlight that's going to hit the snow on the rooftops, on the top of the tombstones, and that lovely light on the sandstone wall. Once again, I've got to start at the back, work my way forward, not so much at the top, but at the back. So I'm thinking in terms of the sky's my ultimate backdrop. This is, the trees in the mid-distance is probably my land-bound shapes that are the furthest away, then the tower area, and then we'll work our way through the little lean-to area just below me there, and then ultimately finish with the tombstones. So I'm laying it from foreground, mid-distance, kind of mid-distance, distance, and then my ultimate backdrop. I was tempted to bring some clouds in, but I thought, doesn't really need it. So that's where the original scene really does hold all the answers. If you're ever lost or not sure what to do, if it is a good subject, the answers will be with the original scene. That's where I'm going for a particular value to get that illusion of light in the sky. And with it going so blue, that is going to exaggerate and make it appear as if the sky is quite dark. But once again, we can use those darks to go up against the darker areas of the top of the tower, because we don't want them jumping out to the foreground and pulling focus as well. So ultimately, doesn't matter what scene it is, we still do need to control the viewer's eye. So now I'm just bringing in some of those shadows. And the tricky part with, I think, painting snow is getting, when it's fresh snow, getting a little bit of snow on the foliage, because it can appear as if it's a bit of a highlight. And that's where I think my advice is, in most cases, is to underdo the little bits of snow on the foliage, unless it's one of those close-up scenes where it's just the forest floor and foliage. That's where you definitely will be bringing in more snow on the foliage. But where this is more of not a landscape, but a building scene, and the foliage or the snow on the foliage is more in the distance, and I could have technically even left it out and still would have worked. But here I'm just going to go for a little bit more colour into those shadows, especially on those shadowed walls. Actually, one of the areas looks like I'm having, and I've definitely felt I was having trouble with, was this cast shadow right where I'm working or was working. It's so easy to just stop concentrating, make a bit of a mess of something. But as long as I recognise that I've got an area of concern, I can fix it. So now just wanting to make sure I get these big windows in, a few little bits of the mid-tone, just so that we don't have it appearing as if it's a brand new building as well. That's where getting in some of those little odds and ends, those little diagonal brush marks, just to help move the eye around and create a little bit of wear and tear on the building. So now I'm coming in with the reflected light on those tombstones, some of the cast sunlight. And that's where sometimes when it comes to the whitest and the lightest area of a scene, even if it's just a white painted wall, I will go full blown into my titanium white and have that as my cleanest value. They say it's considered a no-no, but sometimes I find because there's a little bit of mud on my brush, it's never going to be pure white or rarely pure white. But if it's quite close to me, say 3-4 feet away, it's going to be fairly white. And to power up, especially on the right-hand side of the biggest of the tombstones, that's a lovely sharp edge and quite a bit of snow on it that needs to be fairly clean. But she's all coming into focus now, and I always find when I start to bring in the smaller brushes or that little liner brush, the one that I do those little down pipes and little sharpest little accents, I normally know that I've got this painting well and truly in control, and I have to admit this was really a fun scene to paint. Certain paintings do give me more pleasure than others, and I think this was definitely one of those. So we'll just start to bring in just a little bit of foliage on that right hand side. I was going to leave it out, but I think it does improve the scene overall.